just landed in Venice, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and personally one of my favorite. And we're en route now to the Gritti Palace, but more importantly to meet with the creative mind, co-founder of Ross, Carlos Rosillo.
Really? From the bird? I didn't see the bell.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I've been taken over. I've watched too many Western films now.
Being young is an advantage, but being young and stylish and knowing what I made, because now I know how I want to be dressed, but when you're so young as you are, and knowing it means that you know your personality,
Yeah.
you know who you are,
Yeah.
and this is so important.
Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. We have probably one of the most beautiful bars in the world at the Riva Lounge, sitting in Gritti Palace in Venice on probably one of the most beautiful days of the year as well. Perfectly out of season. Feel like we're here with the locals. So thank you very, very much for joining us.
It's really a pleasure to be here with you, enjoying those beautiful moments in one of the most beautiful cities and with this incredible weather.
It's stunning, and I know we're obviously here to discuss something very exciting, but before we delve into the wonderful world of watchmaking that you seem to be pioneering at the moment, and we feel very fortunate to be having this conversation, let alone be working on you with such exciting collabs that I know our audience has received incredibly well. But before we reveal that, I wanted to explore a little bit more about yourself, because in the light of not only the watchmaking world, but equally in the luxury world, you've really shone through as an innovator, but an absolute inspiration to the next generation coming through your unique ideas and creative thinking and slightly out-of-the-box personality. And I think that's where the marriage between the Rake and Ross and yourself come into place. But so before we talk watches, on the journey over here, I thought what a wonderful opportunity to discuss Carlos, the figure, the pioneer, the innovator who came up with this incredible concept and is the very reason that we're sitting here today.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And I think it's simply the art of living. I was lucky to be educated by my father, who transmitted me the art of living. And the art of living is about choosing the right place with the right people for the right moment, and sometimes with the object that reminds you after a while. You can keep those moments in your memory and through an object. And this is about the art of living, which I think is where therefore it means that art of living is not just an aesthetic, it's your soul, your mind, all the aspects of your personality that goes together and that are aligned. And for that you need to have the right combination, and then you arrive, I think, to a state of serenity that puts you in real happiness.
So Carlos, your introduction to watchmaking is quite commonly known to be at a very young and inspired age. But what I wanted to discuss with you and explore a little bit and scratch on was what drew you into the world of watchmaking, and when you did start diving into it, what was your core inspiration and what was the vision that you entered the watchmaking world with at a very young and tender age, and quite excited about this new venture?
Wow, this is a question. I mean, it's a tricky one, but it's a fundamental one.
Yeah.
If I try to understand myself, why I got into the watch world, probably it's a combination between the quest of mastering time, which is something that is in my mind since my youth. Second, friendship and combination, and my partnership with the Bell from Ross. He's a friend since I'm we are 14 because we had the same age. Third, meeting the right people at the right moment. Mr. Helmut Seen, all the story. And this combination made that we could have what we call the union of competence. You know, this ampersand sign, which is a symbol of the union of competence. And at one stage, you have the combination that makes that suddenly you can have an alignment of the planets and you can make your dream something which is inside your mind and your soul. You can make it come true because you have the correct skills all together to make that, yes, you can arrive to a product. And for instance, those collaborations, they come in the same state of mind, which is thinking about many aspects, the enjoying life, cocktails, and having the right combination that suddenly it comes through and you can get a materialization through the object.
So, partnering with BWC Alpine was a very bold and innovative step, I believe, from Bell & Ross of venturing into a sport before it became such a global phenomenon that we know it as today. And in particular, we've seen the wonderful story of BWT Alpine having a very beautiful underdog story this year of probably one of the best seasons of their careers for many of those drivers. And Bell & Ross was there at the beginning of that journey. And I find it quite interesting because we've seen a lot of brands now hop onto the explosion of F1. But you clearly had the foresight of that long before many of those brands did. And I'm just very curious as to your idea in a marketing strategy of identifying with F1 and placing the Bell & Ross brand with such a wonderful team that's proven to be successful.
Okay. The origins of what you're doing. We loved the military world, we loved the professional world, sky, land and sea. Sky, obviously, the acrobatics, the deep sea, where we have the water resistance record, which is in the Guinness Book, and on the land, of course, driving. And when you drive, of course, there is the Formula One, which is one of the most fascinating sports. And we were lucky enough to be approached when Renault decided to go. They were doing the motors and they wanted to have a partnership, and they thought what would be the brand that would fit their philosophy, and they approached us because they thought that we had this spirit of being at the top, being a challenger, but at the top. And it's nearly 10 years ago. And it was, you're absolutely right, it was in early stages, and it has been fascinating to move ahead, to go with them, and you have met today Pierre and Esteban. They are challenging people, but who are very nice people. And I think this is also about meeting the right people at the right moment to be with them and to give them a supplementary of soul that makes that you have an object that brings your luck to reach the performance.
Yeah. The real reason we're actually here today, sipping these martinis, basking in the sun of Venice at the Gritti Palace is actually to talk about the wonderful trilogy that's laying out in front of us, and the trilogy of collaboration between the Rake and Bell & Ross, as we reveal another new wonderful chronograph inspired by the surroundings that we're in and this very cocktail that we're sipping on. Do you want to talk us through a little bit about this trilogy? Because I know this has been a very long and exciting and passionate journey to get these three beautiful pieces in front of us.
Well, this is something that I'm passionate about. The art of pairing, the mixology, pairing watches with a place, with a bar, and with the proper cocktail. Very interesting challenge. It's about mixology. Art of pairing is not only the way you're dressed, but the way when you're in a state of mind and when you're in a particular place, what is the best combination? I remember when we started with our friend Rake, it was just after the COVID, and COVID was a depressive moment. I mean, we were stuck in our houses, and after that, we said, let's have happiness. And we had that with two cocktails also, Spritz and Negroni.
Yep.
But after I said with the people of the Rake, with Way, with yourself, and with all those people who love, enjoy art of living, why don't we go one step further? One mythical bar, one cocktail, one watch. And where you don't have to say what is the cocktail you want. You just show the watch and you get the cocktail you were inspired. So we began with the Dukes in London and with the Vesper.
Yeah.
Of course, Alessandro Palazzi, who is the king of Vesper.
The godfather of
yeah.
the Vespa. Yeah.
He knows how to make that you go into heaven with the Vesper.
And then hell the next morning.
Exactly. Well, watch out. On one, eventually two,
Yeah.
no more than two. Second, espresso martini. Well, Gritti Palace. Those dark brown colors. And of course, when you're in Italy, the espresso is the must-have, but the espresso martini is the next level. So, coming with this watch, showing the watch to Paolo, and he will serve you one of the best espresso martini I've always experienced. And third, well, the mojito, the Hemingway spirit, and this in Paris with the Ritz, and this is a trilogy that is very interesting in terms of cocktail, Vesper, espresso martini, and mojito, and with 3 places. And I think when we're speaking about combination, we were talking about lifestyle, how to dress, and there are 2 ways I think to be dressed. One is, okay, you have some outfit that you want to wear,
Yeah.
and then you accord a watch. But there is another way to do it, which is, which watch shall I wear because I'm in the spirit, I'm in this place in Venice, I want to wear the espresso martini, and then according to the watch, you put the outfit corresponding to the watch. And I think it's an interesting combination to be dressed according your watch and according your timekeeping.
Sets the tone for the holiday wherever you are or travel for work.
Yeah.
And there's also a beautiful seasonality, I think, to
Yes.
each of these pieces and each of the collaborations with the various hotels and bars, which comes through. I mean, I think just looking at the beautiful aura and outfit that you're wearing today, it fits so perfectly to the landscape that we're sitting in. And I mean, what better of a piece to wear in such a beautiful destination?
And another aspect, you know, it's about details. Watches is about details. I will give you some clues about that. For instance, in the subdial, when you look at it, the indexes are not normal indexes. You have the shape of a martini glass corresponding to the indexes to make that it correspond to a cocktail. Second aspect, this bronze case. This bronze case gives something that is very warm, that is very corresponding to those cocktails, to the wood aspect. And it's a stabilized bronze, which makes that you have this luminescence, but it's not shiny. It's with this golden aspect, but that will make that with the time that goes by, you will have this bronze patina that is so interesting.
And it's a lifestyle component to it as well. It's so much more than a timepiece. I think the connection to not only the destination that's associated, but each one of these have their own individual icons that are associated to that as well. So there really is this true legacy associated with each piece and each individual item within the collab. And looking at them laying all in front of us here so beautifully is as we said earlier, maybe before we even started this conversation on camera, is each of these so individually yet so prominently have a place in a wardrobe for a modern gentleman, because looking at the various palettes of the black and the brown and the green, how that fits into the everyday outfit. There's something for every occasion, from formal attire to work attire, to weekend attire, and of course travel attire. So there really is a strong lifestyle component that you've so perfectly been able to capture within this collaboration. And I think that to me is the strongest resignation with this project, and what I hope that any viewer and who watches this video but also discovers these pieces is able to understand is that far beyond just a timepiece, there's such a great narrative associated with each and every one of these watches, and I think one alone would be special, but the fact that we've been able to do a trilogy of these with you, following the success of the previous two with our Negroni, and it's such a beautiful story and something that we feel absolutely honored to be a part of. And so thank you, Carlos, to yourself, the team. I think the synergy across the board on this project between the two brands is such a great sense of irreverence, but also professionalism that's come through. So thank you so much, Carlos. And
thank you, Brandon. Cheers to the art of living, mastering time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carlos. So we just finished drinking espresso martinis with Carlos, and we now set out to discover Venice a bit more off the back of his inspiration of what this piece means. So we're playing tourist. We're actually looking for shoot locations for tomorrow's shoot, where we'll shoot the campaign for the Ballon Ross Espresso Martini edition.